Behind me here, I have a lot of squash. Actually, my whole garden, if you watch my garden tour, has a lot of squash. And the reason for that is because we've got a lot of really cool springs. And the only thing that really likes to take off in those conditions is squash. So did I go a little crazy this year? Maybe. Does that mean I'm going to have a lot of powdery mildew? Probably. But you know what? Because I'm a geek gardener, I'm not going to let that defeat me. I'm going to try my darndest to take out the powdery mildew before it takes me out. And the way I'm going to do that is through a number of different techniques. I can guarantee you, none of which you've heard before. And the reason why I think you've never heard of them before is because my name's Ashley. I have a bachelor's of science in soil science with a minor in plant science. I like to take that science and apply it to these plants. And one thing I can tell you that we use in agronomy all the time is what we call GDUs. Now, that doesn't refer to my cocaine distributor, my cocaine, and my smelly egg powder, but we'll talk about these here in a little bit. I'm going to set those down. Let's first talk about how the heck we know when powdery mildew is going to show up, because obviously at this moment, there is no powdery mildew. The key to doing well at battling powdery mildew comes down to two factors: knowing when it's going to show up and actually interfering just prior to it showing up. So because you don't want to be distributing this stuff every single day for the whole summer in hopes of preventing powdery mildew, and you only want to really attack it when you know it's about to show up, we can use a number of different science-based factors to figure this out. So the first one is what we call GDUs or GDDs. I've spoken about this before when it comes to determining when to harvest things or what plants truly do grow best in your environment. And that is because GDUs or GDDs, growing degree units or growing degree days, is usually a factor used to determine the grow length that a plant needs, how much it needs in its bank account before it can cash out and retire, for lack of a better term. But it turns out disease and pests and weeds all work on this exact same number of units. And so because of that, we can watch our GDUs, growing degree units, for our environment to know when powdery mildew will approximately begin to have enough in the bank account to kind of cash in. So typically speaking, the number range in which powdery mildew is safe to come about is around 300 to 400 GDUs. So what you can do is you can actually type into Google, what are the current GDUs in? Put your city, your town, not your zone. So you're going to put, what are my current GDUs in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan? And that is going to give you a number. Now, you're probably doing that right now, and you're probably thinking, Ashley, we're like way past 300 GDUs. And yes, you'd be correct, we are, but we don't have all the other pieces of the puzzle that are necessary to make powdery mildew come about. So, do we have enough heat units? The answer to that is yes. The second question is, do we have the correct moisture limits? And that brings us to our next one. We care about two temperature numbers: dew point temperature number and the overnight temperature number. The closer these two are together, the higher your dew point is, the higher your air water vapor is, and therefore the more likely it is to have a powdery mildew issue. The farther apart they are, the less issue you are likely to have. So for example, if your overnight low is 16 and your dew point is 15, that would be considered ideal conditions for powdery mildew to begin to take over. If you have an overnight low of 16 and a dew point of 5, that's much drier air, and therefore powdery mildew is less likely to take over. Now, if you're not a science person, you're like, I don't care about the numbers, just tell me. The answer to this is that you're probably around end of July, August, later summer. And if you go outside in the night and you think, oh, it's sticky and humid, that's your sign. That's your sign that powdery mildew can take over. Now, like I said, you can't see anything on here yet, which is my first line of defense, prevention. And these two products work in prevention only, not with actual attack. We'll talk with actual attack if you have powdery mildew already. But the first one is actually sulfur. So sulfur powder, you guys know I've used this for years. The actual container lasts for ages. You don't have to get a powder. You can actually get like foggers, like sulfur foggers. Your neighbors will hate you if you live in the city, so use that one with caution. But it is like an electric yellow looking powder. And this powder is going to affect the fungal spore metabolism. So what it does is it slows down the colonization of those fungal spores, and it stops their establishment by affecting the metabolism of the spore. So, oh shit. Nothing crazy. Use a funnel. And all you're going to do, oh my gosh, is spray it on the leaves. I mix this with the other ingredient we'll talk about here in a little bit. But you're going to take your nuclear colored powder that smells like rotten eggs, put it in your mister, and you can get like a number of different misters. You can get bigger ones than this, but you really don't need a bigger one. And you're literally just going to spray your plant. So you're just going to spray everywhere. The soil, the mulch, the leaves, the stem. And you don't have to physically see it on the leaf. Like you don't have to look at it and be like, yep, I see the sulfur. It's not like diatomaceous earth in that sense. You just need it kind of misted everywhere. And when it rains, every morning, every day, you're going to come in and you're going to do it again. Because if your dew point is high enough, the dew is going to kind of water this off, wash it off, that sort of thing. So you want to be careful with that. But yeah, you're just literally going to go through and mist the whole area. And this is going to affect the metabolism. It is so much fun to do. I'm not going to lie. You didn't even need a ladder to get up there. That little sulfur powder just gone with the wind, Pocahontas would say. Okay, the next one is potassium bicarbonate. Also a powder. Looks more like cocaine. All of this is on Amazon. If I forget to link it down below, remind me. And I will do that. I'm not a good salesperson. I always forget to do that for you guys. So if I ever forget, just tell me and I'll do it. It's my fault. I'm very forgetful. But potassium bicarbonate is different. It does a totally different thing, which is why I use them in combination. And what this bad boy does is it actually interferes with the leaf pH and ultimately the osmotic stress on the hyphae of the fungal thing. So fungal thing. That's really professional, Ashley. But so essentially what's happening is when it goes on your leaf, it collapses the hyphae. So it literally goes on the leaf, goes on the stem, and affects the pH, which in turn causes a difference between the osmotic pressure within the hyphae and the plant. And that obviously causes the plant's or the fungal hyphae to kind of fall apart. So it doesn't cause any issues with the hyphae hormones or the hyphae itself. It just causes it to collapse. And this is called the burn down effect that we see whenever we use the potassium bicarbonate formulas. And it works fabulously. Like I said, this is a very satisfying job. You can't overdo it. This is a great job for children. They'll feel like scientists. If you have actual starting of an infestation, potassium bicarbonate can work, but your better option is going to be milk and whey powder. I know that sounds crazy, but it's true. Okay, I'm not allowed to. This is why I can't do stuff while I film because I won't stop. I just keep going. So yeah, that's kind of it. You can also prune and get more airflow and that sort of thing. I don't know. That's when you're desperate. You can do that. Watering of the leaves doesn't actually prevent or help it at all. That's a myth, truth be told. But yeah, I'll link this on Amazon down below. Geek Crew, thanks for watching me just play with powder all morning. I'll talk to you guys next time. No, I dropped my powder thing. That's what Google says to watch. That's what, yeah. What if it works on moths, cabbage moths? Beyond. It doesn't do anything. I'm joking. Anyways, I'll talk to you guys next time. Bye.